I am ready. Are you ready for this? It's
Yeah,
a new day.
I actually really like playing this game. I can't believe we're only 6%
of the way.
I honestly thought at the end of our last... I gotta get closer. I'm gonna lean back. I honestly thought that we were like 20% done with this game.
We're not even close. Well, but like you were saying, you really only need like 50% of the bananas.
No,
not even.
We're not gonna 100% this.
No.
What I'm gonna do now is...
We got the key last time.
Yeah, but I just want to go back just to reacclimate myself. I want to get the bananas here with Lanky and Tiny and make sure we have all the upgrades like the guns and the powers and the cranky potions and just kind of... I like to keep up with that because I like to... We'll get to a point where this first world is one we'll want to have like finished.
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready to go for today's... recording. I have my nice iced coffee from Caribou because Starbucks is canceled now, so
that's okay. I never in my entire life I've only ever had black coffee. I mean, I've tried other things, but I never got like to that point where I'd have... I keep getting
the creamy stuff,
creamers or even anything. It's because it gives me a stomach ache and it's too much sugar. I'm really trying to avoid sugar lately.
Yeah, me too. That's my...
We were talking a couple days ago about the quarantine 15, and I'm really feeling that, man. This is the thing people don't talk about, and I can speak as an authority in this because I've lost a tremendous amount of weight. Here's the thing. Losing weight is not hard. Losing weight when you have any amount of like complication or stress in your life is virtually impossible.
So, I think the main thing is when it comes to losing weight is that you like to maintain a weight, no matter what that weight is. It's like you need to have consistency, and when you're in the middle of a pandemic, I'm describing Travis's life right now. In the middle of a pandemic, moving from one town to another for like 3 months, and then going to Japan in like 3 months after that. You know, all of these different things are happening all at once.
Why not have Tiny's? Okay, good. Yeah,
and it's just you can't keep consistency.
I'm speaking for everyone though, because I think like if weight loss is the only focus you have, like if everything else is going great, and you can make weight loss like your number one priority, great. Mm-hmm. But like I think the second that anything makes that harder, weight loss gets so hard. Mm-hmm. Like if you're having like I've never actually had a hard time in school in my entire life, but I imagine if you're having a hard time in school, that could complicate it. If you have money problems, anything like that. So don't feel too bad if you've got something going on and you're not making progress. I hate it though. Oh my god, nothing feels worse than like gaining weight, but then also you're kind of like not doing that much about it. Like you're like, this is just what things are.
I think what's hard for me, and this is something I've been feeling. This is where the wonky controls get a little.
Is these mini games? Yeah. I think
you can tell that this is something they kind of wanted to throw in at the end to make the bananas.
I don't think I'm even gonna try. Well, I could probably do this twice.
But it's. I think, like you said, you need everything in your life to be going right.
If your ducks are in a row, it's easy.
Because changing your eating habits. Not even just exercise. Exercise takes time, and like
exercise is like a bonus thing. Like honestly, I guess other people kind of talk about this too, but I don't think exercise impacts weight loss that much. I exercise because it makes me feel better and sleep better. Yeah. But I don't think it makes as much a difference than like because you can exercise for 3 hours or you can like have half a McDouble or something like that.
Yeah. So it's like the eating is what's really hard, and then you have people who can't afford. Because it's hard.
It's more expensive to eat healthy.
Yeah. And so if you're worrying about money, that can get in the way. If you don't have a job, if you don't have a relationship, whatever. I don't know.
I bet a lot of people. I guess there's probably some people. Oh my god, going up is like impossible. I think a lot of people are probably maybe not just gaining weight, but there's people that are gaining or losing or they're not working out. It's just weird during these quarantine times. Did you notice any sort of like routine upsets when you were just?
Completely. Well, because I kind of had. It's been beneficial in
what
one
the heck
way.
am I missing? Ooh. Okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Nah. I hate this.
What was nice about when I
just want to go on the record. I played that fair. you can run that back, Jamie, and see that I actually had. Oh, is my controller wonk? No, some of the things just don't always work in this game. The perspective can get really wonky when you're not just like directly behind the character. But for the record, I got all those coins and I deserve that one. And this is like a protest, the fact that I'm not taking it right now, because I deserved that. Oh, what were you saying? Something important, probably.
It's been the coronavirus is making things simultaneously a little better and also worse in terms of my health, because I now have more time because my job isn't my typical job during the summer is no longer happening. So I have more time. I can go take a walk.
There was a job where you were pretty active, though.
Yep, exactly. So I would be, and also just it takes a lot of energy just to be. Because when you're working, I work with people with disabilities, and so it's like you kind of need to be the person in the room who keeps track of everybody, or you're in charge of like being sociable with everybody. So that takes a lot out of you, just because you have to be, your brain has to be on all the time, which isn't a bad thing. I love it. But that in itself is a way that your body kind of keeps your metabolism up almost, because you need to be on so much. But now I have time where I can go on walks outside now. I've been able to get more vitamin D than I usually do, which is also good for you.
Oh my god. Because I was working the night shift, I had no sun for like a year.
You were sallow.
I was pale, and now I'm starting...
What's the term? Sallow?
I have no idea what you're talking.
It's something. It's something like that.
Pallid
or something.
When I moved to Milwaukee,
salad.
I was swarthy. I was like olive. I was just out so much. I'm starting to get there again, but it's I think the time limit is really tight on this one. I'm probably not going to make it, because I think 30 seconds should be fine.
What?
I think the bottom of the control stick is weird, so I can't go directly backwards right now, but that's not a problem. I should be able to get this no issue. Oh no, I might need the I think I need the tiny whiny. Oh no, I should just be able to get this. I didn't know if I needed the ponytail spin.
But then it's also been a bad thing, because now I have spending more time at home, which means I then have more time to eat crap, which is what I'm doing.
That's what I noticed. Oh my god, because I'm at home right now too, and it's like adults eat like little kids these days. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I ate so much. When I buy my own food, it's like you buy your meat, your fruit, your vegetables, and a couple snacks. This house is just all snacks. Oh, I know where her thing is too. Yeah,
my place, I told my parents, I'm like, don't buy any more Wheat Thins or ice cream or anything. And then
Wheat Thins is far from the worst thing I've seen.
It's far from the worst thing, but like
that's
just in terms of like cutting stuff out, it's like you want to cut out on snack foods, and even if they're not terrible.
There's certain things where it's like, okay, so frozen pizza, it's not bad for you. It's fine. But the problem is, I know if I get a frozen pizza, I'm not gonna eat. Oh, I thought that was hers. I'm not gonna eat
2 slices.
2 slices. No, I'm gonna eat the entire thing. It's there's some foods where it's just like you have the whole thing in front of you, and it's like, well, that's what I'm gonna eat. That's just So you got to just go, well, maybe I shouldn't get frozen pizza.
So, and my parents too, because my sister's wedding is coming up, and it might be happening, might not, because of coronavirus. But my parents were talking about like wanting to eat healthier to lose weight too. But they're so used to buying all those things from when we were kids, because they're used.
I think that's what it is. That's here it is.
And so then they buy all that stuff, and I tell them like, I don't want any of this stuff. But now that you bought it, I'm not gonna like just throw it out. So then I feel bad. So then I eat it.
And I mean, part of it is you don't feel bad. But part of it, there's just like, if it's in front of me, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even. I'm not trying to help the environment. That's a me. That's an internal struggle.
I could say I'm trying to help the environment, but we know that's not true. I have been subscribing to not eating beef and not eating
Are you still
dairy.
doing Whole30?
No, I'm not doing Whole30.
How long did you do Whole30?
I never actually fully did it.
Okay.
So I'm doing it, kind of. But the problem with Whole30 is that they tell you, like, you can't eat beans or peanuts or that kind of stuff. Which, I mean, there's...
Peanuts are really calorie dense. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I get some of it, but also, like, I want to... Like, beans are good for you in some respects. So,
beans,
like...
It depends. If you buy dried beans and make them, which is actually really hard, it is. But canned beans they have a lot of sugar in them.
Yeah. So, I have I've been buying a lot of canned beans. Or not canned beans, but dry beans. And my parents are like, well, how are we going to make this with dried beans? And
I've never properly made dried beans in my life. Every time I make it, they turn out disgusting.
How do you mean disgusting?
Oh my gosh, do you have to do a backflip? I mean, every time I do it, they turn out gross. Like, they don't taste good.
Really?
Why don't you soak them, right? And it's either I soak them too long and, like, the skin... Okay, this is upsetting me. Either I soak them too long and the skin peels off, or the flavor is bad. I just have never successfully made dried beans. So I just gave up, and I just said, okay, I'll eat canned beans in moderation. That's me accepting my limitations.
Well, that happened to me a couple of weeks ago, because I had bought a bunch of split peas. And
that can be hard too. That's the same thing.
And I boiled them, and then I let them soak, but then they turned into soup. So then I just had to make pea soup. But then I just kind of put in a whole bunch of spices and stuff, and it turned out fine. And put some carrots in there.
I'm surprised you didn't put bacon or ham in it. I thought that usually went.
I mean, that's usually what people do. But I was like, I don't feel like having ham.
I think Chunky can climb those when he turns. I think this is one of those races that I really hate, and I'm not going to do that unless I have to. I know that she's got some bananas in that tunnel, so I'm going to get that quick. What are some other...
But it's been hard to stay healthy, especially because we both aren't working, so like we don't have a
that's
routine.
That's such a big part of it. And the thing is, I hate working. I hate having a job. But if I can make this in before it hits 1, it won't size me up while I'm in the log. If I have that routine or just like that place I go to every day, and my job was pretty active, if I have that, I'm just like, my metabolism is higher, and I'm like talking to more people because you see people every day. So in that weird way, I never thought, like, I kind of miss having a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because the pandemic starts. I guess it wasn't in America. It wasn't a pandemic right at the beginning. But you go, okay, I get an extra week off, and then you find out it's going to be longer, and you're like, okay, this is the opportunity. I'm really going to hit the books. I'm going to study. I'm going to read. I can work out every day. And you're like, oh, I have time to do everything in the world. And you look back and you're just like, I just eat and sleep.
Now was the time to feel our socialist fantasy. I'm not doing anything productive.
That was my misconception is that I should be doing a carpe diem, seize the day. And what I should have been doing is seizing the means of production.
It's not that you can't work. It's that nobody should work.
Well, exactly. And it's also
nobody can work because I'm gonna burn down the casino.
The misconception was that this is the time to be productive, and no, this is the time to relax and do self-care and figure out some stuff like that. That's the misconception.
I'm to the point now where self-care doesn't factor in either.
Well, I think a lot of people had that sentiment where it's like, oh, I have all this time. This is the time to like be the best person I can be or whatever. But it's like, listen, if you didn't have it together before the world was falling apart economically, socially, and biologically, you're not going to have it together now.
No.
You can't just magically snap it because you have more... I think, and I had this problem too, is the missing link between yourself and the self you want to be is more time or more money or more connections. Oh, I had 2 of these. And the answer is never that simple.
I like to consider myself an optimistic nihilist.
You're like Rick and Morty.
No, because I think I'm a firm believer that if like the way that you understand reality, there's no such thing as the real world. I've saying that before on our podcast.
The real world? Like, do you mean like there's no such thing as objectivity, or do you mean like you can't?
There's no such thing as objectivity. So, and what I mean is also that there's never going to be a 100 like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs right now is all messed up as it is. But
mine's like a circle.
It's like an oval. But there's never going... Like, nothing is ever going to be perfect. And nothing is ever going to be 100%. And, like, part of you has... I think part of growing up is understanding that and then making peace with the fact that you're never going to 100% achieve everything you want to in life.
oh, you're not gonna achieve like 10%.
No.
But I think that's another important thing I've learned over the past few years is it's less about like, how do I accomplish the things that I want to, and more like how can I control or how can I accept not having control? Like how can I be okay when I don't have the things that I want or think I need?
Yep.
Or like how do I control my emotions when I know that I'm like upset or like.
And I think the fact that we know that, and the majority of the world's adults don't.
I don't. I know that it's a concept. I certainly haven't mastered it yet.
No,
I know that
nobody
it's
has.
an idea of like, okay, this is something I have to keep in mind. But it's still more of like to catch yourself when you screw up versus preventative. Oh, I can't shoot this right now.
Is it messed up?
Yeah, I don't have a. I'll shoot that later. I don't have a down.
I must have mapped it wrong.
Yeah, we survived. I got to get my Oranga stand though. Then I can, because most of what lanky stuff is, it's kind of lame. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool they have all these different moves, but there's so many different ways to segment these different sections that it's kind of like a lot of, I don't know, fluff or much ado about nothing, because it's like, okay, Tiny had all those feather doors, and then Lanky could either have a grape door, or I can have steep ground, or it could be because he turns into a balloon later.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun when you're a kid, but you see through the veneers a little bit when you're an adult and realize you're just finding different ways to withhold progress.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Self-improvement, weight loss, self-realization.
It's just, thinking about like the being able to control your emotions. And this is gonna come out a little later, but we're filming kind of right off the heels of when that woman and that guy were like bringing out guns to shoot at
that's the hot meme right now.
And it's just, to me, I think, and I don't know if I don't think it's completely generational, but I wonder is like, does our generation just think of people as more of like humans than other like, I don't know.
I think the two big things is our generation. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Our generation, more than I think any previous generation, was raised on interconnectivity. So we're able to talk. I feel like previous generations, like a lot of your interactions were with people that were exactly like you.
Yeah.
So you have more interaction with people that aren't like you.
Yeah, I get
and then
that.
Also, we have more media. So there's more visibility to... Oh, that was not that bad. There's more visibility to not just... So you're not interacting with people, but you're seeing stories and ideas and portrayals that may be different than what you originally thought.
That's true,
So there's much more exposure. Because I think previous generations, so much is based on what you know, what you see, what you're told from your parents or your friends.
Yeah.
And we're kind of the rebellion generation. I don't even know.
Postmodern.
What generation are we? Are we millennials?
We're
Gen X?
we're at the tail end of the millennials. You and I are.
We were born in 95.
I was 94. Yeah. We're on the tail end of the millennials. And so it goes Generation X and then millennials and then Generation
Y.
No, what?
Gen Z is the one on.
Gen Z is the youngest one right now.
Yes.
I think Gen Z is right after us, yeah.
Okay, I can't get that banana right now. Gen Z is the one below us, millennial. What's Gen Y then? Is that like late 80s?
No, Gen X is like late 80s. Gen X is like we're teenagers in like the late 90s. So like I always think of Gen X. I always think of Gen X as like the 10 things I hate about you, like that kind of.
This generation. Isn't I guess this is a phrase that maybe gets thrown around a lot too. But I think being very young in a current like Bush era presidency post 9/11 kind of just like, I don't know how to phrase, makes you more skeptical or like more questionative of authority.
Yeah. See, it's funny because there's been studies and stuff saying like, oh, people don't like believe in the government as much, and like in some ways I like that because it's like good. People should be like critically thinking about the government of like the people who supposedly represent them. Mm-hmm. I also think it's kind of a bad thing because it's like, well, are these people like actually like critically thinking, or is it just like the tendency to put tinfoil over our heads?
I think I know, at least in my life, and I feel like I speak for two. I think a lot of people I know, especially this generation, there's a very natural inkling to be like contrarian.
Yeah.
I like to immediately like dissuade or disagree or like question things, and I do think that like that is an aspect of it.
Yeah, I think your swimming is messed up because I didn't map it right.
Yeah, we'll fix that next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't have a I don't have the down.
You don't have the down.
So you can't go up when you're swimming.
So, yeah, our generation definitely upped the sarcasm of the previous generation.
I mean, like, stuff like The Simpsons was considered, like, really, like, provocative and, like, anti-authority in the time. And it's so tame by today's standards.
Oh, yeah.
Even stuff like, there's aspects and, like, ideas in stuff like South Park that would be considered tame.
Oh,
now.
yeah,
And,
totally.
like, back then, like, the I'm not speaking to, like, the specific humor or the ideas, but there's stuff in South Park that was, like, anti-authority and, like, pushing ideas that people thought were really shocking. And then by today's standards, they're considered, like, out of date or conservative.
Oh, yeah. I think we should take a little break. and then we can fix the controller and we can actually get some of these bananas.
Okay, we'll take a little break. This was the the self-help or this is we're getting back in. I don't know.
We're talking about everything.
We'll be right back.